This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 15-year-old St. Thomas student killed in bike crash, pillion hospitalized. A St. Thomas teen died after the motorcycle he was driving crashed along the Prospect main road in the parish yesterday. He is 15-year-old Chris Miller, a student of Seaford High School and a resident of Duhaney Pen in the parish. His pillion has been hospitalized. The police say about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, Miller and his pillion were traveling along the Prospect main road behind a gray Toyota Wish motorcar, both vehicles heading towards Morant Bay. The driver of the car reportedly indicated to go to the right side of the road when Miller allegedly attempted to overtake the car. The police say the bike crashed into the car before slamming into a utility pole. Miller and his pillion were rushed to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Temporary court setting in Brownstone inconvenient, says lawyer. President of the Northern Jamaica Law Society, Pearline Bailey, says that the temporary court arrangements in Brownstone are inconvenient for lawyers and other persons using the facility. The Brownstone courthouse was destroyed by a fire on February 13, leaving authorities scrambling to find alternative accommodation to house court proceedings. Immediately after the fire, court sessions were moved to Addison Park. Adjustments were made later, wherein criminal court was held at the Brownstone Police Station and the civil matters at Addison Park. The St. Ann Municipal Corporation has given the Ministry of Justice the green light to refurbish a lower section of the building at Addison Park to use for court, and the work is said to be in progress. But Bailey said that the entire arrangement is proving quite inconvenient, especially for lawyers. There has been significant inconvenience not only in relation to the delay in dealing with the matters, because files have to be reconstructed, but in terms of the accommodations for court, criminal court and the civil court, they have been woefully inadequate, Bailey says. She continued, the Brownstone Police Station is not a proper place for court, not for witnesses, not for accused. The space is very small, it's leaking, there are only 2 seats for attorneys, 2 seats for police officers. Where the judges sit, as far as we are concerned, is a security risk for her or whichever judge is sitting there. For the civil court at Addison Park, I don't think in this age and time that citizens should be asked to attend court in those conditions, Bailey added. Bailey said the inconvenience also includes a lack of parking space for court at the Brownstone Police Station and the fact that because the criminal and the civil courts are held at different locations, lawyers cannot move from one case to another in a timely manner. It is a significant inconvenience for attorneys. In the past, you come to court in Brownstone, you're at one location, you can do both a criminal and a civil court. Now you have to go to one location, then go to the next. If you're at the other location, the judge has to sit and wait on you. It's not fair to your client and to you to know that you're in another courtroom through no fault of your own. Bailey said she is hoping the temporary location will be available soon to eliminate the inconvenience being experienced. In the meantime, Mayor of St. Ann's Bay, Sidney Stewart, explained that the arrangement between the municipality and the Justice Ministry is for a period not exceeding 2 years. According to Stewart, we have given permission to the justice system to host the cases at the section of Addison Park. That section we have offered is an area that was in disrepair. The Ministry of Justice has been spending a considerable sum to rehabilitate that section of the building and creating it for the purpose of conducting court, which means transforming some areas into a courthouse setting. The understanding is that they are not going to be occupying that space for over a 2-year period. It's under a year up to a year. It will give the Ministry of Justice time to reconstruct what remains at the Brownstone Courthouse, he added. Meanwhile, the cause of the fire that destroyed the building has still not been made public. Efforts to get a comment from the fire department on Monday regarding this were unsuccessful. Talks between NWC and unions end without resolution, strike status unclear. Negotiations between the National Water Commission and the 5 unions representing workers at the state agency are to resume later this morning after 10 hours of talks failed to result in a resolution. It is not clear whether the 2,000 workers will continue their industrial action that started yesterday. More than 500,000 NWC customers have been affected, with schools being forced to close earlier. The Labor Ministry advised late Tuesday evening that the dispute remains unsettled and unresolved. It said the parties are to continue talks today at 10 a.m. at the ministry's North Street, Kingston office. The workers are protesting over an outstanding reclassification exercise that stretches back to 2008, as well as the ongoing public sector compensation review. Labor Minister Carl Samuda told Parliament yesterday that water had been restored to a great degree, but there were still differences between the parties. In a subsequent update, National Workers Union General Secretary Granville Valentine said the unions were at the final stages of renegotiating a position. We're making good progress, and we think that within short order we should come to a positive position where we can move forward, Valentine told the news. But he did not say whether there would be further strike action. The NWC said it was caught off guard with the protest. The ministry called the parties for emergency talks at 12:30 p.m. The agency's president, Mark Barnett, has threatened that legal action could be taken to compel the workers back to work if necessary. NWC is part of the country's essential service, and under the law, workers in that category are forbidden from taking industrial action. The opposition People's National Party has blamed the government for the strike and urged the Nigel Clark-led Finance Ministry to ensure a speedy resolution of the matter. It appears that the industrial action by the NWC employees is but a symptom of this government's failure to ensure stability amongst the public sector employees, the party said in a statement, pointing to other workers it claims are restive in the public sector. The opposition said Dr. Clark should urgently convene a meeting of the Public Sector Monitoring Committee to address the various issues. Industrial relations requires trust and agreements, and we are convinced that such trust between the government and various stakeholders have broken down, the party said. Lawyers to press for dropping of charges May 24. Defense lawyers representing reputed Wandon gang leader Andre Blackman Bryan and the 32 of his alleged cronies will on May 24 start to argue their respective cases before Chief Justice Brian Sykes in a bid to have the charges dropped and their clients freed. The number of defendants for whom no case submissions will be made is not yet known, but Justice Sykes instructed the prosecution on Tuesday to prepare an outline of its case against each defendant and to share them with the registrar and defense by May 20. The judge issued the instruction after the prosecution wrapped up its case against the 33 defendants after calling its final witness in the Home Circuit Court, where the defendants are being tried on an indictment with 25 counts under the Criminal Justice Act and the Firearms Act. The police witness, a detective constable, was called to the stand on Tuesday to establish the chain of custody in relation to 9 spent shell casings that were recovered from a murder scene at a supermarket at Chancery Street, St. Andrew on August 17, 2017. The victim, Damaine Forrester, otherwise called Dooley, who was said to be a Don aligned to a faction of the Klansman gang, was reportedly ordered killed by Bryan. Forrester, who was employed at the supermarket as a cashier, was reportedly shot at point-blank range in the head multiple times. Tesha Miller, who is serving a prison sentence for accessory to murder, is alleged to be the leader of the Klansman gang from which the Wandon gang emerged. The police witness during his testimony told the court that he was the cop who had collected the spent casings and had submitted them to the government laboratory. Following the close of the prosecution's case on Tuesday, attorney-at-law Kimani Birdson requested to have the prosecution's main witness recalled to the stand for further cross-examination. The requested witness is a former top-tier gang member and Bryan's driver who had secretly recorded conversations that he had with some of the alleged gangsters on 3 cellular phones that have since been turned over to the police. The trial was adjourned until Thursday. The judge has asked the other lawyers desirous of asking further questions to come prepared on that day to make use of that window of opportunity. He also advised the lawyers who may want to have other witnesses recalled to inform the Crown or the registrar by May 17. St. Catherine South Police list 11 persons of interest. The St. Catharines South Police have listed 11 individuals as persons of interest who they believe can assist with ongoing investigations into recent incidents in the division. Among those listed are Omar Manderson, otherwise called the Crumbs, Aymar Mackenzie, otherwise called the Mungo, Kirk Wint, otherwise called the Big Red, Ricardo Carson, otherwise called the Trooper, Shane Williams, otherwise called the Gaza Toussaint, Elijah Carles, otherwise called the Papaloo, Kevin Gibbons, otherwise called the Black Boy, O'Neill Lindsay, otherwise called the Knockers, Robert McRae, otherwise called the Razor, Kishon Bent, otherwise called Tissant, and a man known only as a teacher. These individuals or anyone knowing their whereabouts are being asked to contact the Greater Portmore Police at 876-989-8422, Police 119 emergency number, Crime Stop at 311, or the nearest police station. Cops release 7 people held following gun seizure. 7 people taken into custody following the seizure of an illegal firearm along Burger Avenue in Rollington Town, East Kingston recently have been released. The 7 were released days after the seizure without being charged. The Kingston Eastern Police, who had reported that the firearm belonged to a wanted man in the division, said further investigations are being conducted into the seizure. It was reported that about 11:30 a.m., a police team carried out an operation along Burger Avenue. The police said during the operation, a shotgun was seized and several lead sheets were found. The police said that intelligence received indicates that the firearm was hidden at the location by a wanted man, Odai Joseph, otherwise called Dede, a high-ranking member of the Top Burger Gully gang. The 7 people were detained in connection with the seizure. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.